with yet another episode of the Tried and True podcast, where I like to keep it a buck in all pennies. I am Coach Solly, and we got a phenomenal guest on here today. I'm not going to do what I normally do and go on my intro tangent. This is someone who I truly love and appreciate. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let bro introduce himself. What's going on with you, fam?
What's up with you, big dog?
Man, can't call it. Yeah. Glad to have you.
My man.
It's been a long time coming.
Yes, sir. So I'm Dasan Hoover, for those of y'all that don't know. I'm born and raised here in Aurora, Colorado. I'm a local business entrepreneur. Yes, sir, ACO. And I currently go to school. I own my own business, and then I also work full-time.
Making it happen.
Grinding on the grind.
Yeah. You mentioned that you own a business. What is it?
It's a multimedia company. It's called the Black Collar Media Group. So our website is blackcollarmediagroup.com.
You said Black Collar Media Group.
Like collar,
Black Collar Media Group.
Collar Media Group. I know it's a long one. We're trying to work on that.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Black Collar
It's
Media
really BCMG.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
BCMG. And so we have different branches to it. We have Black Collar Media Group Trading, Black Collar Media Group in general, that we just kind of focus on web design, SEO work, as well as social media content
with that.
for different brands here locally as well as outside the state. And I think our biggest client is a Oriental rug company.
Solid.
And so they kind of sell
I need to tap in.
rugs, $8,000, $15,000 rugs.
Those are the good ones.
Exactly, yeah. So
Those are those area rugs.
Exactly. So he been making my mama happy.
Yeah. Yep. And then because I know most people who are viewing this and listening to this won't know unless they're actually family. This is also a very dear cousin of mine who watched me grow up, even though I'm a bit older than him. He also watched me grow into what I am today. So his appreciation for me has fueled my appreciation for him. So just expect greatness, In all things that he mentions he's doing, I'm expecting him to be done thoroughly. So, yeah, excuse me, I'm excited to talk to you about Chapter 4. I haven't gotten to dig too deep into the self-reflection piece, which is what Chapter 4 is titled.
It's something I've been working with for quite a while.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad that you wanted to talk about this one. And I'm glad that I get to talk to you about this one, especially because being somebody who got to watch you grow into what you're becoming still, I saw you begin to self-assess at a high level. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you, because of your vantage point, you're not able to see from the outside in the level that you are self-assessing at right now. Uh-huh. But the fruit that you're bearing, I can see what's on the way. Just being someone who's just a few steps in front, I can see what you're coming into. Mm-hmm. And I don't even think you know the level that you're operating at, which is a great place to be because you don't start reading your own press. But I don't have, how I do, I'm conversational, so I don't have a lot of, there's no script, but I had a couple things I wanted to make sure I asked you. And I think that you are someone who can give us a good sort of general meaning of what does it mean to really self-reflect. And I don't mean, definition-wise, but your definition. What is the Dasan definition of self-reflection?
I think for me it's, like you say in the book, man, it's constantly evolving, that self-reflection. But I think ultimately you got to have a good foundational process. And for me, that kind of looks like creating a vibe where I can just get comfortable, whether that's playing music, whatever that is, where I can really just be with myself, get in tune with myself, especially in the day where we have technology, unlimited amount of distractions.
Unlimited distractions.
Multiple people hitting your phone. It's crazy. So I like to just kind of block all of that out and be able to just sit and be in tune with myself and kind of be present in the moment. And then that way I can kind of go through my thoughts, go through my mindset, in that time and kind of evaluate where I'm at and where I would like to be. You know what I'm saying? Just like how you put it in the book, brother. So, just kind of closing that gap. Slowly but surely, but putting in place a process, almost like because I'm in school right now, almost like when you're studying for a test. So it's like I have a big amount of content that I need to study and understand. how should I go about it? And you need to put a strategic process in place to make sure that you cover all that process.
You need to put a strategic process in place to make sure that you cover all of that content.
And it's very similar to when you're studying something new, because a lot of people, like, they don't realize they don't understand themselves. You know what I'm saying? And
most people.
And so I feel like when you take the time to actually attempt at doing that, that's when you start to understand that it's like, okay, there's some things that I haven't noticed about myself before, or maybe I wasn't aware of, you know. And that's what I mean by really getting in tune with yourself, you know, and picking up on some of those things that you might not if you were distracted with this and that, if you got too much going on. And especially in the day when we got people, everybody trying to be entrepreneur, everybody's trying to have multiple streams of income, everybody's doing so many things. You know what I'm saying? So
you said something indirectly, and what you indirectly said was where your focus goes, your energy flows. But what you actually said was that there are things that people might not be paying attention to if they're too distracted, so they're not making the progress in those areas.
right.
You also said that if people would take the time to understand, to take the time to spend on the process, you said that they need to take the time on the attempt. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, folks. So what I'm hearing you say, and I just noticed about you personally, see, because you get in your groove, and I don't even think you realize the information that you actually understand until you start talking.
That happened. I get in my little flow.
You get in your flow. You said, I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. At the start of the conversation, I'm somewhere, and then you find me so deep in it, and it's like you actually know what you're talking about. You surprise yourself.
In my thoughts, you know?
Yep. So 2 things. First thing is housekeeping. Make sure that the mic is up on you.
Gotcha.
So you might want to move it closer so you can stay comfortable. I like the little lay back, you know.
I'm trying to get with the mic. This is my first time.
Yep. Nah, you all good. You all good. And then the second thing is, so the ability to self-assess, or AKA self-reflection. When you talk about where your focus is and people taking the time, what I wanted people to understand from reading the chapter, and what I know you understand just from your journey in life, you hit your head enough times to know what a counter edge is. What people need to get is, first of all, it takes time because that's part of the process. Mm-hmm. And I always harp on the process entailing pain. In this instance, having to look in the mirror at yourself. When there are so many, you will see people moving forward, and you won't want to perceivably slow down just to look at yourself, because you want to look at the finished product because you're trying to create it. I think that what people fail to realize is people create products. So people create the jobs that you want, or people perform in those positions that you're trying to get. Mm-hmm. People excel. So you got to spend time making sure that you're the right person. Mm-hmm. So that takes intrinsic focus. That means that your energy needs to be circulating within yourself. You need to dissect yourself like a frog on a table, and you got to do it spiritually, and you got to do it in the mind. And this is something that I know you do. And you're indirectly saying to people that, you're indirectly saying to people that in the event that you are not willing to spend the time on your journey to become one of these things that you saw on Instagram, such as a successful entrepreneur, it's going to be worse. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to highlight that for people, because I heard you say indirectly, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And that doesn't mean you need to be selfish, but in order for you to perform at a high level to provide for others, you got to focus on self at some point. You have to self-assess.
Absolutely.
And the inability to do so is killing companies every day. And that's what your company helps companies do.
Right. And so that's another thing is, like, today it's easy for people to fake progress.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's easy for people to fake progress. And then in their minds, they're looking at it like, oh, I done did this. I've done this. Mm-hmm. I've done this. In reality, they at square one. So, and that's why I want to touch on what you said, which makes it that much worse. You know what I'm saying? Because once you go down the line and you really haven't even become the person that you need to be to sustain or maintain, you know, the success that you're trying to hit.
Stamina.
It's like you're going to be right back at square one. Like, you haven't moved a step, and you feel like you done put in all this effort. And so that's going to discourage you and put your mindset in a place where you feel stuck. Mm-hmm.
Would you rather sprint on a treadmill or walk down the road?
Shit, walk. I'm walking.
Period.
I'm walking.
Because
I like to see. I don't even like treadmills, man. I like to see. I like, especially when I run for real. I like to see. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's exactly how my mentor was too. He hated treadmills because he's like, I'm running, and he might be running like, and he could run, so he might really be on the treadmill for
Shout out to
ever. Yeah, he might really be on the treadmill forever. But he's like, I gotta run through the neighborhood because I can see where I'm going.
Yeah.
Tangible progress, tangible results. Ooh, tap in. Facts. So, one of the other things that I wanted to tap in with you about, because I know that you have a lot of insight on the topic. Yeah, go for it.
My fault. When I was reading again, I was noticing that the first 3 chapters are almost like self-reflection broken down in a sense.
The details.
Like, you know what I'm saying? In a way, because if we go through it, if you go through the first chapter is you versus you, right? Or the difference between you and you.
Yep. The difference between you and you.
Right, which is a form of self-reflection. You know, you and you. Then
yep.
you took about, in the second chapter, it's the difference between you and others, which is also a form of reflection because
yep.
like we talked about, we can constantly be comparing ourselves to other people.
Yep.
And then the third chapter is the power of perseverance, which we already know.
That's intrinsic. 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was noticing as I read through the book this morning a second time, and I kind of wanted to commend you for the flow.
Oh, man, thank you.
Because I wanted to ask you a question.
Oh, and I knew, literally, so when we were on Instagram, I used to do the Instagram lives, Eric, and every time I would bring him on, he would find a way to turn it around and ask me questions, and I'm ready. Because I knew you were going to do that. So I appreciate that about you.
Is rapping and writing similar? Because I feel like in a way you still
like writing like book-wise?
Doing wordplay. You know, and I like the way that you wrote the book. Like I can appreciate that because I read a lot. I have my own book club and different things like that.
Yeah, I didn't know you had a book club. Mm-hmm. I did know that you were a reader.
For sure.
I didn't know you had a book club. We'll have to talk about it. What is it?
It's a family book club. It's called Legacy Gardens.
That's the Hoovers?
It's the Hoovers and you know the Coopers. It's like a whole family thing.
Can't forget the Coopers, man.
You know,
love and shout out to them.
Legacy.
Facts. Okay, we gonna have to. I don't want to highlight that too much because people are gonna want to join and they can't.
It's exclusive, but we gonna build something here, pretty soon. And
let's talk about that later for sure, man.
Established, but
I would love to support that and all your, just you're an educator as well, so whatever. Sure. Anything you're doing in that realm, I'm expecting great things.
But yeah, I was curious about if writing and rapping is very similar because I know you got to play with words and mend them together.
Yep. Phenomenal question. I'm a wordsmith. I'm not a rapper. I'm great at rapping as a result of my gifts.
Right.
Rap is a skill that I had to sharpen because I had to learn how to talk, and I learned how to rap before I learned how to talk. I used rap and music to get my grades up in school. I use rap and music to understand things around the world because I get songs from the spirit. They come to me that way. Gotcha. Lyrics come to me. That's just the way my mind works. It links things. And, metaphors and similes are you linking things to other things. Mm-hmm. And I have a love for rhythm. But I can't say I'm a rapper. But the reason why that they seem so similar is because the way I do it, they're exactly the same. It's all words. It's communication. I'm a communicator, and I can wear the hat and say that I'm a phenomenal rapper because that doesn't make me better or worse than anyone. So it's not like a cocky thing to say, but I'm great at it because I'm a communicator. Mm-hmm. So even if you play my music, the nature in it is just me communicating messages to people. Even if I'm just talking about my own life, the vibes is just like the book. Like I throw a little bit of me in there, but I'm mostly communicating this message to you about something.
Right. I never looked at it like that before. But now that it's definitely that's what we are as communicators, especially as artists, people that make music.
That's us.
It's a message.
That's us. It's like people like me and you, we're communicating messages digitally through marketing and branding. That's why people like you and I can brand anything because I could take your message and communicate it to who you need it to go to in the way they'll receive it.
Absolutely.
That's what we do. Or me and you with poetry. I could do poetry or I could help you with your web design. Right. It's the same to me. I'm just communicating.
Absolutely.
So to answer your question, yeah, facts. I hope that answered your question.
No, it did. Absolutely.
That was a great question.
For sure.
You want to?
I was
hey, go ahead and take over the podcast. I knew I was gonna get a real good question from you. I'm glad I was ready for it though, because sometimes you got those ones. I'm like, dang.
Because we don't talk like we just got an unspoken understanding, so we don't talk too much. So me just getting
you my little brother, man.
Sit down with you, I got a lot of things, that might just come off the top.
Hey, that they do. All right, let me before I get too caught up reminiscing, because I'm seeing like old pictures of us from when we was kids flashing in my head now. I got to pull that back. I did want to ask you though, especially because our relationship has come up. I can remember some times when you were trying to navigate and get into this phase of your life to continue to move forward, and there were some troubles you were having that were all stemming around self-reflection, and you weren't necessarily having trouble from what I saw, because I came in at a weird time, but I never left at the same time.
Right.
You never really had a problem self-reflecting, but once you began to walk in your identity, you kind of had issues trying to figure out, how do I get this A person to the B person, like version of yourself? And it was like, how do I connect that dot? So I wanted to ask you if you could remember a time in your life when you, because I don't know the answer to this, when you ever kind of refused to take responsibility of your actions and how it affected you, if that ever happened.
Yeah. I would say definitely when I was up in Pueblo going to school up there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was up there before I go to Metro now. And so a lot of people.
That's where I went.
Yeah, a lot of people might not know I got kicked out of Pueblo. And so that was because a lot of different things. But ultimately, just to kind of sum it up, I think I was just not all the way sure of myself and what exactly I wanted to do. So I wasn't very emotionally intelligent. And there was a lot of white folks out there.
Yeah,
I didn't go out there with anybody. So I was kind of solo dolo by myself, and I'm not very friendly. I know it may seem like it, but I'm not very friendly. So I would run into a lot of problems, whether it was with teachers or whether it was other students. And then that kind of built up kind of a record with me and the dean, the student conduct
reputation.
Lady. You know what I'm saying? Kind of labeled me as a troublemaker of some sort. So I was selling weed up there, going crazy, just doing a lot of stuff that necessarily wasn't helping me focus on school, which was my main and only prerogative.
That was the reason you were there, yeah.
I'm spending money on classes, but I'm not even going to so it's just a lot of different things where at the end of the day, when I got kicked out, I was looking at myself and saying, the whole time, I'm blaming everybody else.
Oh.
I'm blaming other people. He came up to me and said this. He's coming at me wrong. He need to correct the way he's talking to me.
I just remembered an incident. Yeah.
It's a lot of different situations.
You remember that phone call?
Oh, yes, I do. See,
we ain't got to tell that story, but yeah, now I'm connecting the dots. Yeah.
That happened. So, and that was a whole nother situation.
That was different, but I'm remembering that time.
It was all in the same spot,
I'm remembering the accountability thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nah, definitely. And I think I was childish at the end of the day. It was just a part of me growing up and understanding what's worth my energy and what isn't. And I feel like I was feeding into a lot of bullshit where it was like people were trying me, talking to me a certain way, might have had an attitude, said something to me the wrong way, and I escalated into what's up? And so that
was the mode of communication that you understood up to that point.
Right. And so I'm sitting here trying to make things what they really not, and turning things into something that they should have never been. So I think at the end of the day, looking back at that situation, I understood that I can't blame anybody for my reaction to certain things.
I can't blame anybody for my reaction.
I got to take accountability, and I got to make sure that, like, I'm not doing anything but hurting myself at the end of the day by looking back at my actions and not taking responsibility or even doing that self-reflection process as to why did I end up here? Why am I here where I don't want to be? And I'm taking steps backward instead of taking steps forward.
How did I end up here? Reverse engineering it.
Exactly. And the great way to explain it, simplify it.
You said that.
For real. But seriously. And so I think that it was a lot of different situations where I didn't do that. And then at the end of the day, when I got kicked out of the institution, I definitely had to look back at it because I had people on my side where they tried to kick me out 2 times. And I appealed it. And then so I was fighting. And then the third time, it was like, okay, I shouldn't even have been in this position.
You were fighting to stay in a bad position.
Exactly. And for me, at the end of the day, I'm like, man, the whole thing wasn't worth it. At the end of the day, it's either I should have shut up, sat down and handled my business, or I should have moved to another place because I had already built that reputation and I already had that label on me.
There was an energy. It was looming. There was a fog that was created.
And I felt stuck. I felt stuck because I was constantly trying to, focus on my grades. But at the end of the day, it was like I was still doing the same shit that I was doing before that got me in that same position. So it's like, even if I'm focusing on my grades, getting A's and B's, I'm still getting written up for, fighting and arguing with the teacher and shit like that. So it's just little dumb shit that, people might not look at it as serious. But at the end of the day, it's like, we don't got time to waste.
It's cyclical. So let me not use words like cyclical. Let me say,
what does that mean?
Cyclical is when something is like a cycle in nature.
Okay.
It's cyclical.
Gotcha.
So, it's just like it's very circle-like. So you fighting to stay in a scenario so that you could get it together, but then as you're in the scenario where you could get it together, you are not getting it together. And it's like if a house is burning down. And the house is burning down and you got people trying to move you out of the house. And for whatever reason, they're trying to kick you out of the house because you didn't take care of the house. But you keep taking your stuff out of their hands and bringing it back in the house that's on fire. So it's like, you got to pick one. I'm either going to put this fire out and I'm going to make the necessary changes and I'm going to mend my reputation. That can take certain levels of work that honestly in some scenarios it ain't worth doing. I'm not going to speak to your scenario in particular, but somebody's listening and they need to understand that there are predicaments that you could find yourself in where it is not worth you trying to there are certain problems that honestly you just need to put down and go elsewhere if it is beyond repair, right? It's like a car. Is it totaled out? Have I totaled out this relationship? Have I totaled out this scenario? Okay, well, I need to collect what I can and I need to go. Or can I salvage this and it be worth my salvage? Right. Sometimes it is. And that's interesting. Like, I love that you told the story because I didn't know all of that, but it makes a lot of sense connecting the dots. And you answered the question perfectly because during that time, you're in positions where it's like the parable, it's like the story of Peter. And I ain't going to get into it because I don't want to go hyper spiritual, but if people don't know the story of Peter, it's several actually, like Peter, Paul, right. Me. Like, you get in a scenario where you're like, why am I actually this way? Like, I really am this way. Like, it's habitual. Like, I continue to commit these acts against my life, which is really against myself. Why am I doing that? It's habitual at this point. I'm reacting a certain way. Right. It's natural. Why are these my natural reactions? And you reverse engineered that to become the man that you are right now, which is phenomenal. That's a hero. Now, we're not super. No one is super, which is why everyone has a responsibility and a duty to do this for themselves, right. What you were able to do. You reverse engineered it. Phenomenal. So I just love that answer. I'm like stuck on it. I don't even want to ask another question, but I have one. For sure. I didn't even mean to cut you off like that. I'm sorry, but just like listening to you talk and me being around, like I was bopping around doing me at this time, right. Kind of just making sure I'm peeping you. Like I was talking to your mom and your pops on and off about different things. Right. And I was communicating to them. I was like, he's searching for something. And
they was lost.
They're like, what's going on? I'm like, listen. No, they were lost. But I just kept telling her. I remember it was on my birthday. I had a conversation with your mom.
Shout out to my peoples, man.
Oh, bro. Shout out to my aunt and uncle. Just amazing people. They need to get on I need to go be on their podcast today. I don't know if they started one, but I need to be on it and they need to be on. But and I was telling them, he's either going to find it now or he's going to have to search again later. Right. And I didn't use those exact words. I just kind of told them like the best ways to communicate with you while you are digging. And then I just kept in contact with you, like whatever you need, like holler at me. And like I'm bopping around, but like I try to stay in contact at least, keep the relationship healthy. For sure. So you telling a story and I'm just like, yep. And he found it because you were willing to do the digging.
But at the end of the day, I think I was blessed. Like the way that I grew up, it kind of enabled me.
Yep.
In a way, man, I was blessed to not go through some of the things that you went through, that other people went through. I had a good, childhood, a good bringing up, and I think that ultimately put me in a position where when I went away to college and I spoke on this book,
And you were actually by yourself.
you know what I'm saying? And so that kind of made me, do that self-reflection and really get to know myself and what it is that I want to do. And so through that whole process, that's what ultimately got me to the point where I started to actually take that search and take the responsibility of searching for not only myself, but who it is that I want to be. You know what I'm saying?
So I wrote a blog recently, and it's called Knowing Who You Aren't. And I just published it last week. People who you're hearing this and watching this wasn't last week. You've had it from us. So, but on your way to meet the person who you really want to be and who you actually are, on the way, you met the person who you don't want to be and who you're not. They happen to be there in the in-between. And you met them. They introduced themselves. You got acquainted. And you said, I don't think this is the one.
Right.
It's necessary. Some people go through certain traumas in life and they get to meet that person sooner. Some people meet that person later. But we all meet that person.
Right.
That's the blessing.
I think that's a life-changing day for real. That's when your life start damn near.
Yep. Facts. All right. So I wanted to ask you, one of my other little bullet points that I got is if you could speak to the relationship between reflection and responsibility, and can you speak to the power of taking responsibility of your own life?
That's a tough one. I think, it's a lot that goes into that, but with reflection and responsibility, they go hand in hand. With reflection, that's the first step, and then you got to take responsibility, for me at least. Like in that reflection process, when I'm getting in tune with myself, when I'm analyzing, where my mindset is and where I'm at, that's when I start to do the actual reflecting and looking back at not only where I am, but where I've been, and kind of the circumstances to each situation and kind of the type of person that I was and how I was carrying myself during those situations. And then that's when it starts to take responsibility for the way that I was carrying myself in those circumstances and in those situations. And then once you take responsibility for, the things that you didn't like that you were doing or the decisions that you wish you didn't make, that's when you kind of start to analyze it, break it down, and understand why you made those decisions, accepting that responsibility, and then ultimately accepting responsibility to make a change. And so that's kind of how I would break it down for me, the relationship between reflection and responsibility, and what those steps look like to kind of get from, reflecting on something that you've done to taking responsibility for it and then ultimately making a change.
You do good with the step-by-step. I know you, in the beginning, you talked about how I do that, but you do really good when it comes to the step-by-step.
Because I'm not, it's hard for me sometimes. And I think that step-by-step process
It's hard for me all the time.
It's like, and I was going to say that too. It's like,
yeah,
bro, it's hard constantly evolving. It's hard constantly.
It's the hardest.
Man, it's not easy, bro.
That's why it's the road less traveled, because it's not the road less traveled because it sucks. And it sucks all the time, except when it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it really doesn't. And when it does, it really does. But there are certain types of people that come out of that. And you can't get to be that type of person that came out without going through. And there's no way around. There's no way around the furnace.
And I feel like life gonna suck either way. Either way it go, you gonna look back and be like, bro, what was I doing?
Because everybody's human
there too.
Everybody's a human being.
It's like, bro,
you're gonna make a mistake so many times regardless. Like me and the person who's not trying to achieve anything are both making mistakes daily. Right. Both of us. But one of us is getting something out of it. Right. One of us is not taking anything from it. And the only difference is somebody like you will take something from the suffering. Sure. Even if the suffering don't obviously give you anything, you'll take something from it.
For me, it's I look at it like, what am I doing it for? And I feel like that right there is the answer to everything.
And that's the amount of times I ask myself that question in a day, because it'll start off as like, what am I even doing this for? And then it goes into like, well, I'm here and it's happening, so I need to figure out what I'm doing this for so it can anchor me.
Right.
And you discover that why. Like, the why behind the what is more important than the what. It's the why that really matters. It's like when I talked about communication, you asked me about rap and being an author and things like that. The what is irrelevant to me. It's the why. I need to communicate this to people, whatever it is. And that keeps me anchored. So even if something doesn't seem to be yielding the results I want, like in the event that I watched a reaction video to one of my freestyles and that freestyle doesn't have as many views as other people who do like a poor job rapping. Mm-hmm. But what keeps me anchored and producing excellent content regardless, because I could just dumb down my content. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to do that because it'll ruin the why. Right. And the why is way more important than the what. So instead of doing that, I'll just write a book. I'll write a book. I'll go do a conference. I might go do literally might go do another conference or a speaking engagement or something. Or I might just save it for organizational development or something.
And so I was going to ask you another question, too, that just inspires another thought. When I was reading through the book, and it was a specific place where it was talking about kind of afraid to change.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's a different
chapter.
I
know I'm hopping all over the place.
I told you, take it wherever you want to go.
But like with the afraid to change, I wanted to ask you, what's the difference between being fearless and being stupid?
Do me a favor. What chapter is that?
I think it's 6.
I need you to. I'm gonna briefly answer it. Write that question down, because if I can, I'm gonna see if I can have you in that episode.
I'm just using this as time to talk.
If you down, I don't know if you down. I don't know if you down to come to another episode.
I'm down, bro.
But if you could be a third guest for chapter 6 as well, that'd be great. I'm gonna briefly answer that question. I do need you to ask it one more time.
Chapter 6, though, yeah.
Chapter 6. All right.
But yeah, I got you. Whatever you need, man. You know I'm down.
I'm actually making this note right now.
With my boy Eric.
Chapter 6. All right. I don't know if you remember the way you worded that, but I need you to ask it again, like right now, so I can.
Yeah. So basically, I was going through the book, and in the chapter "Afraid to Change," it was just talking about how people usually haven't.
What is the difference between being fearless and stupid?
Right.
There's not too much of a difference, and the word, the correct phrase would be naive or ignorant.
Right. Yeah. Man.
And there is a necessary bliss. Yeah, swap the word out, bliss for ignorant. There is a necessary naivety in curiosity. Curiosity and naivety are Siamese twins because I don't know, but I also want to know. And I don't even know the dangers of what I want to know, but I just want to know so bad. Mm-hmm. I'm so curious that I'll run into the room with the lights off, not knowing if I'm going to hit a lamp or a couch or fall off the edge. I just got to know what's in this room. And that's happened to me so many times. I'm just willing to run in the room. Even if I fall off the cliff, I'll run in the room and yell, "Don't run! Bring a rope!" I'm willing to be that person. So there's not too much difference between being fearless and being like having that dumb, that optimism, that just dumb confidence. Right. There's just not even confidence in you, but just confidence in that you're willing to suffer the consequences to know what's in there, to know what's beyond this door. Are you Stoicism? All right. So in my research, in my studies on Stoicism, ancient Greco-Roman philosophy. So Stoics would wake up every day, it's one of their practices, and they would accept the potential consequences of the day before going into the day, and it kept them pretty mild, you know? So they never really had to deal with, the goal was to not have to deal with like super duper lows, like depression and things like that. So they would keep themselves at a healthy medium. So they would never get too high or too low because they already accepted the consequences before going into the day. I could get hit by a car today and die, or break a leg and have to live with it. I could lose my voice and never be able to speak again. I could break both my hands and now I can't write with a pen, right? Somebody I know, a loved one, is going to pass away somewhere between now and whenever. It's going to happen. And it's going to be someone in my inner circle. Either we're all going to be on our deathbed or somebody's going to have an untimely death. Right. It's going to happen. But I woke up this morning and I accepted the fact that because change is going to happen, I cannot dwell in the fear of change happening to me. Fear, it's a sensation. that'll come over my body. It'll paralyze me. Just like anger, just like happiness. I can be paralyzed by excitement. There's no difference between, scientifically, there's no difference between having a nervous energy before getting on stage and being excited to get on stage. Right. They're the exact same chemically in the mind. So when you talk about the difference between being fearless and being stupid, there ain't too much difference. Right. They're almost exactly the same and necessary.
Logically, why? Yeah.
Because before I do it, I'm going to have nerves, right? Or fear before I do it, even if I'm still willing to do it. And if I've already done it, I probably won't have the same nerves, and I'm still willing to do it. It ain't too much difference. Damn. I'll be forgetting we got that bomb. I ain't get scared that time, though. Did it scare you? Because, bro, when you...
Perfect timing.
Bro, when
I
you
was
see...
waiting for it.
When you see the other episodes, that bomb scared the hell out of me. Oh, man.
Solomon jumping out his chair.
Bro, I was jumping.
Nah, but that's a good answer, man. That's a good answer. You crazy. the man start using words I don't even know.
Hey, and guess what? I'm the dropout.
Exactly. Oh, God.
I'm the dropout. Isn't that funny? I can't wait to tell that story, bro. I can't wait to tell that story. I'm the dropout. But anyway, man, I'm not gonna cut you off because but I do want to say I'm getting ready to land this plane because I know you got somewhere to be. But thank you again for
be here all day though, brother.
Man, it's such a pleasure to have you. That's what I'm scared about is I will sit here and talk to you for the rest of the day, and we got things to do. This is a very enjoyable experience. Let me make sure I ask you because we will both forget. Run back over your business name and what you do. Please let the people know where they can find you, social media, internet, whatever, website and all that. Let them know again because you did kind of briefly go over that. And let us know what you got going on so we can support you.
For sure. So right now with Black Collar Media Group, we're putting together a couple webinars that we're going to have on social media here in the next month. So expect something by late May where we'll do webinars to kind of help educate, the local community on marketing in general and kind of how to market for a small business or a startup. So I think those would be real valuable for the community. Our Instagram is Black Collar Media Group, just straight up Black Collar Media Group. And we have multiple different platforms. We have a podcast that we're going to be putting out soon. Here. In a couple months, we're getting the content together for it. It's called Nonstop Progress.
I'm going to be that dude who's like, yo, I see the vision. Let's build.
For sure. Hey, man, I'm down to do any collaborations. But the social media for that is non_stop progress. And so that's the Instagram for that. That's the Black Collar Media one. And then as well as I'm in the process of building up my second business, and hopefully if we get that off the ground, I will be bringing marijuana to your front door. We are starting a marijuana delivery company here. We're going to start out in the city of Denver and then hopefully expand into Aurora. So you guys just keep staying in tune with me. You guys can add me on Instagram, my personal one, Kalon Bergeon. It's KALONBURGEON. And you guys can kind of stay in touch with me, and I'll be putting updates for the marijuana delivery as well as kind of some of the other things I got going on up there.
Yeah, a lot of people who use it medicinally are also people who experience great pain and are not able to actually do all the traveling around, try to go stand in line at dispensaries and all that.
Pandemic don't help.
Pandemic definitely doesn't help with that. And I know people personally who that's like the only place that they're able to find relief, and they got to be able to receive their products.
For sure. So, I know it's going to be a high demand for it, for sure.
Yep. So, all right, brother. I got a lightning round coming up that I told you about. It has nothing to do with the podcast. So
hit me with it. You about to see.
I'm gonna have to. I need to figure out where I can get like some little music that I can play in the background or something. I'm gonna have to figure that out. So it'll be like a game show.
I'll hit you with some links.
Oh yeah, you.
For sure. Not for me, but like some instrumentals. Things to set the vibe.
Look at you, man. Adding value already to the see.
I
heard that. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie. Oh damn.
See, you wasn't ready.
Oh, damn. That's just a tough one because I really love movies. Like
yeah, me too.
I really love like
we've
quality
always been on
shit.
that. Mm-hmm.
Like I like.
You remember when we used to watch Samurai Jack?
For sure.
Boy.
I probably, but not like, but not.
That
like,
ain't a movie, but I was just thinking back.
But like now though, I think, bro, Denzel up there, and I think I'd probably go with American Gangster.
Ooh, that's a good one.
American Gangster.
I
Just
own
off
that
the top
DVD.
of my head.
I own that
Just
DVD.
off the top of my head. But Denzel got so many good. La Flight. Denzel got Out of Time. He got so many good ones.
Fences.
Nick.
Fences was
Crazy.
deep. I was texting my pops. Hey, you know I was texting my pops. My pops text me first. My dad texts me first. He was like, "You need to watch Fences."
He texted me too. I mean, just popping about the blue with some update on the world.
It's random. Yeah, he'll hit you with it. The man is a genius.
It's always some powerful shit.
Favorite book?
Kindred. It's a book that I just read, and it's like I'm like, damn.
Yep.
But that's the one that we currently reading in our book club. So it might not be my favorite, but it's the one that came out.
All right. What's
Lightning
one
round.
that you finished?
Kindred.
You just finished it.
Finished it.
Okay, but you. I don't want to say you love the book, but
dope book for sure.
All right,
I would recommend it. Kindred. Y'all go check it out.
Facts.
Definitely. Y'all gonna be into it. I was mad at the lady in the book for what she was. I be getting all into it. It pulled you in.
Okay,
like a
yeah.
TV show. I'm into
it.
Yeah.
I'm not reader. I'm not reader. Yeah.
All right, kill him. Like a whole
while you reading.
But it's a good book for sure.
I always wonder what the suspense is like for people who read slow.
I be reading fast.
Because I'm like, I know they're going through it. They can't even get through the paragraph. Oh, that's wrong. All right, favorite food?
Thanksgiving meal.
Oh, yeah. You can't say one food for Thanksgiving. I understand that completely.
It's like that.
Y'all Thanksgiving is a little different.
That's the meal, though. Like, what you mean by that?
No, I'm just saying. All right, so Judah. All right, so Judah's family for Thanksgiving, they do it a little different too. Like, they'll have Thanksgiving food, but they'll also have like seafood here. They got like steak here.
Yes, we don't do that.
Okay, so yeah, hey.
Look, that's how long he ain't been over. That's
hey.
What that means.
I just remember it was so many people. You know what? I also only ate certain foods, so I can't speak to everything that was there. Never mind.
I mean, we might have done it, differently a couple years, but like recently we've been just the immediate family, my mom, my sister, my dad, my grandpa, we just sitting at the table.
Is there marshmallows on the yams?
No.
Okay, thank you, Jesus. Hey, and I'm gonna be real. So this is the funny thing. All right, so people don't know this now. I only ate my grandma's cooking only so many times I was able to in my life. Right. I realized late she put marshmallows on yams, and I didn't know that until I was old enough to know I don't eat that. Yeah. So I didn't even eat them, and it was like that's the one thing. Like how it's like people are just like 100% perfect. Right. She like 99% perfect in my brain now because it's that 1% where she put the marshmallows on the yams. All right, my fault.
Boston Market.
Boston Market is that pack though. But anyway.
Boston Market is fire. I ain't gonna hold you.
Hey, favorite person right now because it changes. I know.
Damn, my mama.
Yeah, it's easy call. I can understand that.
That was too easy.
Phenomenal woman. Favorite quote.
It's lightning round. Damn.
Yeah.
I don't have quotes off the top, Solly.
You got a mantra, anything. A bar, a rap line. Or look it up.
Yeah, I'll look
any of it. I had when I had Chris Jones on here, he surprised me because he got on his phone so he could dig through quotes. And he pulled out like a really good one.
He dig through the quotes.
Like a real good. I ain't gonna say what it is because I don't want to influence you, but it was fire and he just was on his phone. Right. Normally, this is the point in the podcast where I would point out that I have my Vessel spring water, but I actually left my Vessel spring water at the crib today. So everybody go follow at Vessel spring water on Instagram. Black-owned business that is doing great work in the community, educating people when it comes to just spiritual consciousness of self. Also, just not using plastic. Plastic does a lot of things to you. It does a lot of things to the fish, and it does a lot of things to the world. It's one of those things that we invented that just really ain't it, It's hard to get away from, too, because it's all over the place. But, I'm rocking with Vessel. They use the glass bottle. They got the clear. They got the green. It's like wine, so I stick it in the wine rack. Vessel spring water. You got one?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I'm gonna go get one right after this.
All right. I'm gonna ask
supposed
you.
to have it here for me. Matter of fact, but
Man.
I'm gonna let you slide.
All right.
You better have it next episode when I come back.
All right. Favorite accomplishment.
I got my quote ready.
You do?
Yeah.
All right.
It's by Dapper Dan. I actually wrote it down in my notes. It's I'ma totally embrace everything that's taking place to keep me on top of what's going on in this race.
Huh.
And then he has another one. It's whenever I find a way to make some money, I take somebody with me.
Ooh.
So those are the two that I'm gonna go with.
Bars.
Especially with the book constantly evolving.
Yeah, that's I like that too.
For sure.
Both of them heavy hitters, and you
just
came
some
back to
random
back, like
quotes
left,
in my
right. I couldn't
notes.
even take a
Just
minute
some-
to. Man, all right.
I was waiting on a little freestyle. I said I'm.
Oh, all right. I ain't even gonna get into it.
I'm just playing.
Favorite accomplishment right now?
I would say so far my business, the Black Collar Media Group. When I first started, I never thought that we would be where we at today. $50,000 contracts. We doing.
Congratulations.
You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations on making the necessary progress, man.
Appreciate you. Congrats to you, my brother, on the book, the podcast.
The deciding factor. I haven't
good
told y'all
folks
where to
with
get it
you.
one time, I don't think. Tribalhaven.me. You can get it on Amazon if you like. It'll be on your Kindle. But if you get it from me and cut the middleman, you get a little discount. Go to my website, tribalhaven.me. The book by itself is $19.99. And then I got a package coming to y'all pretty soon. The ticket will go up, but the value goes way up. We got the audio coming to you, and we got a workbook that'll accompany the deciding factor. I'm just glad that you read it and that people of your caliber are reading it, bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm landing the plane. Everybody got places to be, but I want to leave the folks with a quote from the chapter. I'm going to start doing this every episode that we talk about the book. If you ever want to see a real shift in your life, you must first shift your mindset, shift your core, change your temperature on the inside, and the outside world will react accordingly. This is the Tried and True podcast with my man, Dasan Hoover, and your boy, Coach Solly. He's been tried, and it's all true. Thank you for coming, brother.